because I'm going to be 90. My parents were born in Lithuania, in Lazda, and my father came here when he was a young man, and I don't know too much about that part of his life. But then he went back to Europe to visit his mother, and my mother lived next door to where she was. In fact, she used to take care of her future mother-in-law. And by this time, my mother was a young lady, and they fell in love and decided to get married. Then they came to America, and they bought a grocery store in Briar Hill, Pennsylvania. It would take me all day to tell you about this store. It was a general store that sold everything. My father already knew how to speak English. He was well read. My mother came here as an immigrant. She only spoke Yiddish and maybe some Polish. And she wrote and spelled the way it sounded to her. For instance, peas were P-I-S, eggs were I-G-S, eggs. So she was self-taught. How she accomplished, and I never appreciated it until I was older, with no one to teach her, no one to guide her, just that she knew she had to work and take care of her children. And one thing my mother taught us, never to be envious of anyone else. We lived in Briar Hill. That's where I was born, March 1st, 1924. And we lived there till about 1929. My father passed away in 1933, and I was 9. And I used to go to the store with my mother to work. And my Uncle Morris, her brother, lived with us, and he was like my father. And he was very good to us. He didn't raise his voice, but when he said we could or we couldn't do something, we knew that that was law. I had one sister. She had a very hard life, and she accepted what she had. She made a joke out of everything. She made everything fun. And the kids, my grandchildren could tell you some funny stories about her, and some that I've told them. When she put the rosebud in her nose and it began to bud and we had to take her to the doctor, or when she put her head between the bars at the bank and then couldn't get her head back out, and the men at the bank had to pull the bars apart so she could get her head out. I don't remember ever hearing her say anything not nice about anyone. She was a character. She was a sweet little girl. And I miss her. My Bobby and Zadie, my mother's parents, came to visit. I would think in 1929 or 28. And we got them an apartment on the same street that we lived in. I used to go to shul with my Zadie when I was 6 or 7. They stayed here for 2 years, and then they went back to Europe. First of all, they missed my mother's sister Frommel and I think they had 11 or 12 or 13 children, and my Bobby and Zadie were very close to them. Plus, my Zadie said it wasn't frum enough for him. I went to school in Uniontown. I always had very close friends, and some of them, thank goodness, are still with us, and we still communicate, and we laugh and cry about things past. We played outside a lot. We played jacks, we played cards, we played tag. I met my husband in 1951 on a vacation trip to Tamiment, Pennsylvania, which is in the Poconos. And we both knew right away that we were going to get married. I was 28. I was the old maid. I was the last one of all of our friends to get married. I was waiting for a prince on a white horse, and he was the prince. There were 7 children in the family. Adriel was the last one to get married, so I was a prize. Everybody couldn't wait to meet me. When we first got married, we moved to Pittsburgh in the apartment where the yeshiva is now. And then we lived there for about 6 months. And then we bought a furniture store in Morgantown, West Virginia. So we lived in Uniontown, and he commuted to the store. When my children were old enough, I started to go to the store. I was the bookkeeper, the secretary. I did a lot of things there. Zadie and I both came from similar backgrounds. There was not a lot of money. My mother had to provide for my sister and me, and his parents had to provide for 7 children. So our ethics were to work hard and to save for the future. Zadie worked very hard. He never missed a day to going to the store, except on Yom Tovim, and very rarely was he ever sick enough that he would have to miss a day. His greatest enjoyment was his vacations. That was the important thing to him. And of course we took the kids. We went to Florida, we went swimming, we went to Aspen to ski, we went on 3-day cruises. We did everything with our kids. We took one vacation without the kids, and the whole time we kept saying, oh, David would like this, Typka would like this, Deborah would like this, so we never went on another vacation without the kids. They were all very good children. We loved them. Our life became our children. One of the things I remember telling my kids was that no matter what they did, if it was something that I didn't approve of, I would never sever our relationship. I might not be happy with what they're doing, but I would not ever stop speaking or communicating with them. So when my kids became frum, we were a little surprised, but seeing how they lived, we soon became used to it, and I think we took on some of their beliefs and things that they did. A big highlight was going to Typka and Baruch's wedding in Israel. That was an eye-opener. And then Deborah decided to stay, and then she became from. David went the other direction, but he respected his sisters, and we respected him. My biggest accomplishment was having the 3 children, but then came the grandchildren. It's an indescribable experience. You look at this little being, and I thought to myself, this is a part of me. Each grandchild has a different connection to me. They're all different, although they were brought up in the same house. And I have so much love for them and appreciation for the things they've accomplished. My husband and I used to come to Pittsburgh every Sunday to Typka's to visit the kids. And I still remember the feeling when they would come running up the hall. Oh, puppy, Zadie. And then they went on their merry way to do whatever they were doing. Well, there's no comparison to what's going on today to the way we were brought up. You kids can't imagine. We didn't even have Kleenex. We had no toilet paper. Some had outhouses. The changes that I've gone through, we couldn't have imagined what you have today, the conveniences. That they should love each other and be close to each other. Even if you have differences of opinion about something, don't let it take over your life. And I want my great-grandchildren, of course, to be close to each other.
I just wanted to say happy birthday to Bubby.
Mazel tov, Bubby. You're such a special and amazing and such a giving person. And we're so excited and happy to have had you in our lives and in our kids' lives, and we're so excited to continue having you in our lives.
Happy birthday, Bobby. We love you. We miss you.
May you have many more happy, healthy years with a lot of nachas from your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And we hope to see you very soon.
Amen.
Happy birthday to Millie. And I don't feel silly. Happy birthday, dear Millie. Isn't it great to be alive? Baruch Hashem, aren't we lucky? Aren't we blessed? We're here for our little ones to see and grow up and do things. Baruch Hashem.
Happy birthday!